So hi guys, so in this video we are going to discuss more about setState. In the last video we already discussed about the state and just a glance of setState. So in this video we are going to discuss more about setState and the work around about it and every like the basic concept and the core concept and any interview questions regarding this and the core concept behind the setState. Okay, so let's get started. So here is an app component here, and we have already it's rendering hello into the UI, and this is the console. So we are going to create the setState inside a like a class-based component. So we are going to just declare that inside our app component. Okay, so let's create the component first. So this is a new file, and I am using this ES7 React snippets. So yeah, we are going to like initialize a counter, and that is a very good example how to use setState, and it is a commonly asked question in interviews as well. So counter.js, and if you are using ES7 snippets in extensions, then you are just type R like React components, and this is a class-based component and with export type RCE. Okay, yeah. So and this is already declared. Okay, so just save this and just paste this into our app JS. Okay, so okay, let's see the okay, and we have to import that from there. So import not from module equal to dot slash components slash count, and we are importing count. So we say default export, so we can just name as count. Okay, yeah, so that should be it, and we should be like getting this count written inside this counter.js. So okay, and here you are using setState, and this is a like class-based component. So first we are going to declare our constructor. Okay. So the constructor should take our props. This is not needed, but yeah, just for the sake of the good coding practice, we should do this. So yeah, and we are going to use the this method here. So we are going to call the super to the base class constructor. Okay, and then we are initializing the state. So if you seen my previous video, this is how we like initialize the state inside this component. Okay, and here I'm going to initialize a variable called counter. Okay, so the counter should initialize to 0. Okay, and let's save this, and we just have to access this this state inside our component. So inside this div, let's just create a count, and the count should be this dot state dot counter. Okay, okay, just let's just wrap this inside a p block. Yeah, and then okay, just remove this. Why this is happening? Okay, so suppose delete this. So inside this p, and now we are having count equal to 0. Okay, and one more thing, we want to make this a counter, so just add a button. Okay, and the button should have name click to increase. Okay, just click. Okay, and on this on here we can initialize a on click event. So inside that we are going to call a arrow function. Okay, so if you are familiar with ES6 syntax, you know what this is. And here we are going to like call a function that we need to declare also. So increase one. So each time we click this button, our state should be increased by one value. Okay, and this is it. Okay, so obviously this is going to throw some error because we do not have that function right now. If we click this and have some error. Okay, so then we have to like declare this function. So this function is, let's copy the name and let's declare this before the render method. Okay, so before render we have to call it. Yeah, just declare it here. Okay, so the increase method we can call this as a function parameter also with function parameters. We don't want it to just increase this by one. Okay, so let's see how the setState actually work and how we can increase the state. Okay, so if you know about the like core fundamentals of any programming, and we can also we can change this state directly. Okay, so suppose I will use this one, use this.state counter. Then what I can do is just call the previous function and okay, let's just hold on this. Okay, and increase this by one. Okay, so let's do this and let's see what is happening. Okay, so each time, okay, if I let's clear the console. Okay, so the count is 0 now. So what I'm doing, if I am clicking on this button, the state is going to be like from 0 plus 1. So the new state dot counter should be 1. Okay, and to see this, what we can do, we can console log. Okay, console log this state, so we will have a better idea what is exactly happening. Okay, yeah, so let us reload. Yeah, and clear this console. Now if I click this.state counter is logged as 1, means it is increasing, but the UI is not rendered. Okay, so see this part and this part. Okay, so you have to look through these two values, what is logged inside this console and what is being rendered in the UI by React. Okay, so what we should do, we should use the setState. That is the safest way, and that's how React actually knows like I have to re-render the UI according to the state. So let's comment it out. Then this dot setState, okay, this dot setState, and the counter should be like this dot state dot counter plus 1. Okay, let's close this object and close this function. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are using the setState method, and inside that we are giving the object that we have to change. The object is the counter as the initial one, and the value should be the previous set counter, the previous value plus 1. Okay, so whatever the state is here, it is going to be increased. Okay, let's check this. So I'm clearing the console and I am in this. So what is happening now, like we are having the UI increased by 1, because React knows the state is going to change. But the thing is, now we have zero logged in, zero in here in the console log. And why this is happening? Okay, this is happening because this is because the set state is asynchronous. Okay, so asynchronous means the console log is not waiting for this set state to do this work. So whatever the state is the application has, the console log is doing just logging that one, not after what set state is changing the state into. Okay, so we can resolve this. Okay, so let's copy this and comment it out so that you have a reference later. So what I'm gonna do that I will call this setState method, but to have some effect, like if I want that some block of my code is have to be executed after the state is changed. So for that I can use a callback function. Okay, so after this object is passed, then I want a callback function, and suppose that is an arrow function as well, and inside this I am going to console log. Okay, so console.log, and here this dot state dot counter. But to know the difference between these two, what I'm gonna do is use template literals, and what I can say, like, okay, and here I'm going to use synchronously increased. Okay, increased, and I have to wrap this function inside a variable. Okay, yeah, now good. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm calling this function, this function after this set state, like change the state. Okay, so this block of console log is going to be executed synchronously after set state done its work, and this console log is going to work asynchronously. So we'll have a better idea. Okay, so let's clear the log and see. The initial value was 0, that was logged by the console log. It is not waiting for the set state to work, but this console log is waiting because it's a callback function inside set state. So synchronously increased is 1, and the UI is rendered 1. So again, it's not waiting, it's just printing 1, and this synchronously increased value is going to be 2 because it's waiting on the set state. Okay, okay, so now see another workaround. Like, if what I want to do that I want to increase this thing like 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, so what we can do, we can just suppose declare another function. Okay, so the function is, so increase, suppose 3. Okay, so increase 3 is going to do just the call the increase 1 function 3 times. So this dot increase 1. Okay, and just call it 3 times. Oh, sorry, I just made, okay, 3 times. So each time I will call this function, it will call this function 3 times, and our counter should be increased by 3, right? So let's put this in on click, and now this increase one going to be used 3 times. Okay, so let's see what is happening. Okay, let's clear the log. So what happened here? Like, we call this increase 1 like 3 times, but the count is 1, and surprisingly there is console log of 3 zeros, and 3 ones as well. So for what happening here is React actually is optimized to increase the performance to group all those set state calls into one. So it is considering them one, and so it is grouped them and just performed one time. Okay, so it is taking the same state and it increase all of them by one. So it is not waiting for the previous value on the previous value. So this increase one. Okay, so this increase one is not waiting on this one. So this should be executed after this one is been called and this state is changed, but it is not waiting on that. These three are like grouped and executed simultaneously. So that's why the state is one. Okay, and in both of them they are just called one time. So to like do this remove this our functionality and use this synchronously again, that I want that this increase one I want to wait on this one. Okay, so how to do that? So let's go back to VS Code and okay, let's copy this again and comment it out, comment this section. So what we can do in okay, just remove this all these things. Okay, okay, all this yeah. What previously what we are doing, we are just giving the object into the set state. So instead that what we can do, we can pass a function. Okay, suppose this is an arrow function. Okay, so inside this we have to pass a previous state. So previous state, and whatever the previous state is, I was just want to increase that value by 1. So instead of this dot state dot counter, what I can do, previous state dot counter. Okay, oh. So now what is happening, set state is taking this previous state, whatever previous state is, then increasing by 1. Okay, now this thing is going to increase. Okay, so this is going to come. Okay, is I'm doing something wrong? Yeah, we have to wrap this thing. Yeah, maybe this time is correct. Yeah, okay. So now let's clear the log and start again. Okay, so now if I click, the count is 3. Okay, next the count is 6 and it is log 3. Okay, so let's wrap up what we have learned till now. So whenever you want to change the state, always use set state. And the set state is always asynchronous. So if you want the synchronous nature of the set state, then use the callback function. Okay, and whatever code you want to synchronously execute after the state is being changed after the set state, you put those block of code inside this callback function. Okay, and if you want to use set state on the basis of the previously changed state, then pass as a function instead of like a pass as a function argument, like we did in like we passed the previous state into a function instead of the whole state object. Okay, so that's it guys. I'll put all this code in that GitHub repo. I'll put a link in the description. So if you like what I create, just subscribe to the channel. That will keep me going. and if you like this video, please like this video, and that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.